Escudero, Lubiano, and the 30 million peso donation. Is this true? This country is drowning in so much noise. Spin after spin after spin, misdirection, rage baiting, unfounded talking points, all designed to confuse a public that is already stretched thin and just trying to stay afloat. Kahit saan ka tumingin, someone is peddling a narrative instead of explaining the truth. And the people who need clarity the most end up getting manipulated instead.
Nakakagalit na po kasi, ang daming naghihirap, ang daming mga lumulubog sa baha, tapos yung mga tax natin, ninanakaw lang nila, pinagpapasarap nila sa kung ano-anong mga luho nila.
And it does not help that this country has no shortage of self-proclaimed political analysts who talk with so much confidence.
Paano kayo nakakakuha ng mga ganitong proyekto? Gumagastos ng mga 5 billion pesos tapos hindi nyo maayos-ayos tong flooding problem natin? People want to know the truth. Pagod na ang ating taong bayan sa ganitong panloloko. Kaya cheese, okay, umayos-ayos ka please.
Akala mo yung opinion nila ebidensya.
Sabi ni Cheese, why are you focusing on me? Why are you focusing on the 1%? Parang halata kapag affected siya eh. Kasi di ba, ang first time niya nagpa-press con na mukha siyang affected, no? Even if he will deny it, inom siya ng inom ng tubig noon. Ang problema ni Senator Cheese, hindi niya yata alam, Senate President siya. Kaya siya nauna.
Basta sinabi ko, totoo yan.
And of course, we're talking about top campaign donors, which is, di ba, on the record yan eh. So you can trace it. Sinong top campaign donors, sinong kumuha ng kontrata, at kung reasonable yan.
At mas maingay pa sila sa mga totoong expert at sa mga taong totoong may alam. They feed an already exhausted public with half context and cleanly edited narratives because they thrive in a tired nation where people barely have time to verify anything.
I come from the north of the country where our Human Development Index is almost Southern Europe. But if you go to Mindanao, their Human Development Index is sub-Saharan African level.
And are just too fucking done with things because they are very easy to agitate even more. Public servants owe the Filipino people better than that. And more than ever, honesty from our institutions matter. Unfortunately, even the very institution tasked to guard our democracy is not immune from political gamesmanship. Comelec, welcome to the show. If there is one place in this country where politics should never dictate decisions, dito yan sa Comelec. But we all know that that's not how things actually work. At kung magpapasurvey tayo ngayon, tanungin natin ang mga Pilipino, magbigay kayo ng 5 government agencies na inyong pinagkakatiwalaan. I'm willing to bet Comelec would not even get a single vote. And that's nobody else's fault except the people there because the office allows itself to be used. Nagpapagamit kasi kayo.
Yung kauna-unahan po namin susulatan ay yung mismong contractor na yon na umamin mismo sa House of Representatives na siya ay nagbigay ng 30 million pesos.
Case in point, the Cheese Escudero campaign donation issue.
Matagal ko ng kaibigan at kakilala, siya at tumutulong talaga sa amin. Mula't mula pa, nung hindi pa iso to.
Pero nakakuha siya ng kontrata nung senador na po kayo. At ulitin ko lang, at may any help ba siyang
Yung
nakuha?
mas malaking nakuha niya ay nung wala ako dito.
Pero nung senador na kayo, SP, nakakuha pa siya ng kontrata po?
Hindi ko alam dahil hindi naman niya ako partner sa negosyo. Hindi ako bahagi ng kanya negosyo. Again, that's the innuendo and the insinuation being floated and propagated.
May resolution na, may decision na, pero bakit divided pa din ang mga tao sa naging desisyon? Because it was meant to be exactly that. An issue to divide an already exhausted Filipino people. It should not have been an issue at all. Naging issue lang naman yan dahil nabanggit ni Mr. Lawrence Lubiano sa Infracom hearing na nag-donate siya ng 30 million pesos sa kampanya ni Cheese Escudero in 2022.
Kayo po ba ay nagbigay ng donasyon sa sino man na kumandidato, whether local or national, sa huli mga eleksyon?
2022, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Kanino po yon?
Kay Senator Cheese po?
Escudero. Senator Cheese Escudero.
Yes po.
And more or less, magkano po daw ang inyong na-donate kampanya ni Senator Cheese?
30 million po.
Noong panahon na yun, ay kayo ay meron ng mga proyekto o kontrata sa gobyerno.
Yes po, since 2009 po.
Kasama ang kumpanya ni Lubiano na Centerways Construction and Development Incorporated sa umanong top 15 construction companies na nakakubra ng mga flood control projects mula 2022. But as I have been saying since this started, wala naman kasing problema kung nakakuha ka ng project ng malinis. Ginawa mo ng maayos ang proyekto at tinapos mo ng walang problema. But of course, that's a separate matter. Pwede nating pag-usapan sa ibang araw. Ang tanong, illegal ba na mag-donate ang may-ari ng isang construction company sa kampanya ng isang kandidato? Sa mundo ng mga katulad ni Jesus Falsis na very honest and very intelligent, illegal.
Ang problema for Senator Cheese, there's another prohibited donation or contribution, which is any entity, natural or juridical, any person or company cannot donate if that company or person has an interest in a contract or has a contract with government for construction or infrastructure projects.
But in the real world, where laws matter, hindi.
It's actually a violation sa Omnibus Election Code. So, Section 95 of the Omnibus Election Code says may mga prohibited donations. Hindi, sabihin natin USA. No, I mean, let's
Any
be fair.
foreign interference yan basically. May utang na
Yes.
ng bansa, problema yan. Yeah.
Let's be fair. Elon Musk, Jack Ma, mga hindi dual citizens, hindi Pinoy, or a foreign government, bawal.
Sure, sabi sa Omnibus Election Code, whether you are an individual or a company, kung may kontrata ka with the government including construction projects, bawal kang mag-contribute o mag-donate sa kampanya ng mga kandidato. And it's very easy to understand why. Gustong iwasan ng batas na yung mga politiko ay magkaroon ng utang na loob sa mga contractors na pwedeng maging dahilan para ma-compromise kapag nanalo na sila. And when I say contractors, I mean lahat. Hindi lang yung mga sa construction. Pasok din yung service providers, goods providers, and anyone na kailangan ng legislative franchise para mag-operate. Katulad ng kuryente, media, telcos, mga bus company, tolls, mga kailangan ng permit like minahan, etc., etc. Ibig sabihin, basically, lahat ng oligarchs at elites sa bansa bawal mag-donate. But let's be realistic. Most politicians are the elites and major political parties are backed by oligarchs. So lahat na bawal? This is the extent of the conversation that propagandists will not take you to because their narrative will fall apart. The National Unity Party o NUP is backed by Enrique Razon Jr. May-ari ng Soler, Prime Infra na nag-ooperate ng Malampaya Gas Project at may control and chairmanship ng Manila Water, ICTSI na nag-ooperate ng mga ports sa bansa, etc., etc. Ang Nationalista, backed by Manuel Villar, may-ari ng Prime Water and Prime Asset Ventures Incorporated na may hawak ng concession for the Muntinlupa Cavite Expressway among many others. Ang Nationalist People's Coalition or NPC na ang backer naman ay si Ramon Ang, whose San Miguel Corporation has several major contracts with the government including the 170.6 billion 25-year concession agreement to rehabilitate and operate NAIA. May large-scale infra projects such as the new Manila International Airport in Bulacan and the Metro Rail Transit Line 7 o MRT 7 and has a public-private partnership with the Quezon City government to clean up local rivers. Again, among many others. Mga major political parties pa lang yan, ha? We are not even talking about politicos who actually own companies or yung mga kapamilya nila na may mga kontrata with the government. So what? We'll just ignore all of that. The interpretation of the law that prohibits these people from donating to any campaign is very restrictive and unrealistic. And whoever tries to argue na ganito siya dapat mag-apply are either naive or are sinungaling. Now back to Escudero, Lubiano, and the 30 million peso donation. The Omnibus Election Code does prohibit individuals and companies with government contracts from donating to any campaign. However, that prohibition only applies to the individual kapag ang kontrata with the government ay nasa pangalan nila at hindi sa pangalan ng kumpanya. Kung ang donation ay galing sa pera ng kumpanya mismo or if the person is acting on behalf of the company, yun ang bawal. But in their personal capacity, gamit ang sarili nilang pera, pwede silang mag-donate. Even if a person owns almost all of the shares of a company, sa mata ng batas, hiwalay na entity pa din ang kumpanya sa mga may-ari nito. And it does not erase the corporation's own identity. Nilinaw na yan ng Supreme Court. In MacLeod versus NLRC, sabi ng korte, even full ownership of a corporation is not enough reason to treat the company and the owner as the same. So you can call it a loophole, but in practical terms, this interpretation makes sense. Because if the rule automatically banned all owners, shareholders, or investors from donating, the law would become very impossible to implement. If ownership alone were enough to trigger prohibition, then a lot of Filipinos na may shares sa mga companies, 'di ba, mga partnerships, including yung mga kaibigan at kapamilya ng mga kandidato will be banned from participating in campaign donations. And that would be unworkable and unreasonable. Magsisinungaling na lang silang lahat. It's just surprising that in the case of Lubiano and Escudero, COMELEC actually went down the path it did and made this bigger than it actually is. Nag-alat ng resources para sakyan ang narrative na ito even though they know that not only is this not bawal per se, almost everyone also does it. Even though may mga mas mahalaga at urgent na matters na dapat nilang pagtuunan ng pansin or pag-aralan. Whether or not Centerways eventually bagged contracts dahil sa donation na yan ni Lubiano in 2022 is immaterial here. Wala sa mandato ng COMELEC na imbestigahan yan. Especially not 3 years after the donation was done. Trabaho yan ng Ombudsman, ng COA, ng DOJ o ng NBI, hindi ng COMELEC. Dahil kung gagawing issue ito, silipin na din natin yung ibang mga nag-donate sa kampanya ng mga politiko mula sa personal nilang pera at direktang nakinabang eventually dahil nabigyan ng posisyon sa gobyerno.